Hi, this is attorney Walter Hnot with Disability Resolution PA, and what we're going to be doing is going live right now to go ahead and basically go through the details for Social Security disability benefits. As people join on, we'll continue to grow more and more questions. We'll continue to answer more and more things. So with that said, what I'm going to do is kind of prep things on this end. Let's pop out the chat. That way we have it here. Now, in the background, you're going to hear a small puppy basically chewing up paperwork. I did not have enough time to prep the scene and the set of where she is going to be, so we're just going to have to allow her to chew up all the paperwork that's down there. She'll come over here and visit me at some point with Shadow, who has completely written her off as a not thing that he wants. All right, guys, so let's wait a few more minutes. Sorry we're starting a little bit late, and then we'll go ahead and get the ball rolling with this stuff. Okay, let's see. Okay. Let me get prepped on this end to go ahead and answer all the questions. Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Spock. I appreciate it. That's really engine optimization. So anything you can do would be super duper extra amazing. So I'm going to put out the phone number real quick to let you guys know that that's the phone number you can call for me to run hearing questions with. Howdy, Dime Daryl. How you doing? Okay, cool. So what I'm going to be going through today will be basically, in between doing questions and running questions with people, will be sections of the videos that are upcoming so you can kind of understand some of the things I've been going through. Let's go ahead and talk about that. So the first thing that we're going to be going through is, that's my new little baby puppy. She is a handful. So the first big thing we're going to be going through has to do with basically the representatives that you could have. Now, there are a total of 10 different levels, and really the 10th level doesn't even exist. But I just wanted to put it in there so that at some point in the future, 10 years, 15 years down the line, if they create that option, that they can go with that route. The Social Security disability field is unique. I know she's down there and she's eating paper right now, and Shadow has completely written her off as something that we just, yada, yada. All right, so... No, they're going to do in-court hearings. They're just for October, up to and including October right now. They're set up to only do phone hearings. So basically, if you have a hearing, you're going to have to do essentially a phone hearing until basically October is over. And they may continue to push it out from there because let's call it like it is. The coronavirus is just spreading. It's becoming even worse. I opted to recently not go to some of my offices, like the Powerhouse Church office. I'm not even going to because it's just I'd likely get sick if I went to it, so I just have to stay away from it. Hold on, let me just check on her real quick. Sweetie. Ooh, she is chilling an electrical cord. Let me grab that real quick. Okay. All right, guys. So this is the felon, the little misdemeanor, the little snuggle muffin. Shadow will be up here shortly. Don't bite her. So basically, this is Layla's. Howdy, Michael. This is Layla's vicious, and that's basically what's going on with her. So, Shadow, I'll pick you up shortly, okay? I love you. You know I love you more. All right, so with that said, let me pick up Shadow real quick because otherwise he's going to try and murder me during the show. Sweetie. All right, so come here. All right. So, as you guys know, Shadow is always the baby. Always the snuggle muffin. So, let's go ahead and begin. Social Security field is, hi, sweetie, is a very unique field because anybody can represent you, which is a horrible idea, but that's how it works. Anybody can represent you in the field of Social Security disability benefit. Why is it that way? Well, they wanted to make it open and available for anybody to help anybody, which is a really cute and cool idea. And it sounds great at first. But then you realize friends, family, all these types of individuals can represent somebody for a fee. And she's chewing another cord. I got to grab her. Let me put this guy down. So what that means is that if they can go ahead and essentially be representing somebody for a fee, yeah, she already destroyed a kid. It means that friends, family, all those can go ahead and get a fee off of you, which is terrible. And the reason it's terrible is because they don't usually build the claim or do anything. FYI, you guys there? Okay. Either way, guys, what I want to do today is I want to have more people calling in Thank you. I want to have more people calling in to go ahead and run questions with them and go through claims. I've told a couple of people to go ahead and again, around now to go ahead and call in and run questions. So if you guys have any disability questions at all, don't be afraid to give me a call and I'll walk you through them. In the meantime, let's go ahead and talk about, for example, social workers. Now, social workers are those types of individuals who have to know a lot of programs, and they've got to know basically what to file people for. So, social workers, called you last weekend. Gotcha. Okay. So what that means is that basically you can have a social worker represent you. You can have a disability advocate represent you. You can have a certified disability advocate represent you. You can have a law school dropout represent you. You can have a law school person that has passed law school, completed it, and then not passed the bar. Then you can have a lawyer. Then you can have a federal certified lawyer. Then you can have a certified specialized lawyer. And then you can have, which doesn't exist yet, a doctorate level, postdoctorate level specialized attorney in Social Security disability benefits. So let me go through that again real quick. That way you know what types of people can actually represent you throughout this process. You have friends and family members. You have social workers. You have non-legal advocates. They're disability advocates. You have, and she's leaving. You have basically specialized, certified non-legal advocates. You have law school dropouts, pass law school but can't pass the bar. You have lawyers. You have federally registered lawyers that can go ahead and do things at the federal court level. And then you also have at the next level, basically certified attorneys. That's where they get a certificate on top of their doctorate. And then you have, postdoctorate degree, which doesn't exist in this field. Like Social Security disability does not have basically a postdoctorate level degree that you can get. I just want to check on her and what she's doing. She has found the doggy bags to chew on. All right, that's acceptable. Okay, so what do you need to know about this? Basically, what happens is this field of disability law is unique. And work is that there's two levels of doctorate degrees. Those two levels of doctorate degrees are traditional doctorates, and then you have professional doctorates. So traditional doctorates are like PhDs, the extension of college. You're learning more about a particular topic at a higher level. Professional doctorates, those are like your MDs, your JDs, stuff like that. So what that basically means is that every attorney has a doctorate, right? So understanding this whole hierarchy of individuals that could potentially go ahead and represent you is important, because you don't want somebody low on the list. The lower you get on the list, the less they know. So to go through that real quick, you have to go through a lot of people before you even get to somebody who knows how to do legal research, who knows how to write briefs, who knows how to communicate with judges using legal jargon. You have to basically go through a lot of this through that whole situation. I'm just checking on her, making sure she's not chewing on electrical wire. So what that means is this. As you go through this process, the bare minimum of what you should be hiring to go ahead and represent you throughout this process is an attorney. That's the bare minimum. You don't need a law school dropout. You don't even need less than that, which is a non-legal disability certified representative. You want at least an attorney to represent you. And here's why. As you go through the initial filing, reconsideration, ALJ hearing, appeals counsel, when you get to federal district court, regular attorneys can't even represent you. They have to be certified to go ahead and represent you at that higher level. All the people in here, like let's say that you had a friend represent you through this process, or a caseworker, or a disability advocate, or a certified disability advocate, or a dropout attorney who couldn't make it through law school, or somebody who made it through law school but couldn't pass the bar. Let's say you had all of those people. All of those people right there are barred from representing you at the district court level. So that's just something to think about, when you go through this. You kind of want to hire somebody who can take you through the entire route. So that's what I wanted to say about that particular thing. Yeah, I know. Seriously, she is chewing on doggy bags right now and already destroyed a power cable. All right, so let's talk about something else. What would you guys like me to talk about? any topic at all, you let me know, throw it in the studio chat, and then I'll tell you what it's about. If you guys have a particular thing you like, not so much about the diagnosis, but rather the ability to continue working. Yeah, Michael J. So the 5-step sequential process, the last 2 elements are all about, can you work your old jobs, or can you work other skilled jobs or unskilled work? And if you can't work, you get what's called a vocational allowance. Most people who are found disabled get a vocational allowance. At what age will SS not consider in the national economy? So do you mean David, do you mean, okay, jobs. So when you reach 59 and almost 60, your attorney will negotiate to grid you out, because the vocational guidelines, when you get to 60 years old, the rule is no, old dogs can't learn new tricks, which means that they only look at whether or not you can do your past work. They don't even look at whether or not you could do other types of jobs in the national economy. So at 60 years old, that's technically when the statute takes place to say, hey, at this point, we're no longer considering other jobs in the national economy, just what you used to do. I mean, let's call it like it is. Most people who are 60, most of the jobs a 60-year-old used to do, whether they're running a big backhoe or they're running a front loader or they're running a this or that, or let's say that they're flying a plane or this, most people at that point, if they're applying for disability benefits, they can't do the job they once did. Otherwise, they would be doing it. That's why most people that hit 60 are usually easy claims to get through, so long as they have some medical evidence to show some severity of impairment that would limit them from doing work. So let's talk real quick about what this all means. Okay, how do I overcome VA records when my doctors, providers never put anything in regards to the ability of work? I'm rated 100, I guess that's percent, just for PTSD alone, 40% for my cervical spine with a fusion. So that's not a hard claim to win. If you get 100% VPAT through the VA due to PTSD, I mean, maybe, did they actually give you a full 100% for PTSD? Usually they give you like a 70, 80% if it's really bad. But if they give you a full 100%, you're going to use a special statute to go through, which is the following. I think it's subsection A3. I don't know. Just go look at that one. You'll see on that one. Basically, it's around there. I'll look it up right now. Hold on. Let me exactly which one it is. It's blah, blah, blah. It's a Halleck's rule. Let's see what we got. No, it's subsection 2. So subsection 2, I'll just read it to you guys so you can understand how VA benefits work with the VPAT allowance. Veteran 100% permanent and total disabled. The case is designated critical when the claimant has received a 100% permanent and total P&T disability compensation rating from the Department of Veteran Affairs. These cases can be identified by the following: the case characteristic VPAT in CPMS and a 100% P&T flag in a paper case or an electronic case by the 100% P&T special handling flag in eView. Note: critical case procedures do not apply to claimants with a 100% P&T disability pension, as opposed to disability compensation rating from the VA. I'll go into more of that later because that is important. A VPAT designation is added after SSA receives verification that a claimant has a 100% P&T disability compensation rating from the VA. The SSA verification process goes like this: through a data match from the VA or from a claimant who submits a VA notification letter verifying a 100% VPAT rating. All right, so what do you need to know about that? If they believe you have a 100% VA-based disability rating, what that really says to them is that you are unable to work because they gave you the 100. If you had 90, it means you could still be out there working. But if you are completely and utterly unable to work, that's when they consider the option of giving you the full 100. If you have the full 100, judges look at that and they say, cool, when did he get it? Is there any evidence better than this? If not, that's my alleged onset date. Hi from Alaska. Howdy, howdy. Okay, so let's see. No, I'm a full 100% P. Yeah, Michael J. That's an easy claim to win. That's like no biggie. So how do I overcome VA records? So Michael J., where are you at in the process? And another one is for everything else by the VA. I'm 200. Yeah, I know. The VA is not so bueno when it comes to their number schemes with how they add up their percentages. You'll have like 80%, 50%, 40%, 40%, 30%, 20%, 100%, and then all of a sudden you're at like, 180%. I don't know why they do that, but that's how they do it. Well, no, I know why they do it. That's the percentage of impairment related to your inability. But Still, it would make more sense if they totaled it to 100, but whatever, you know. I guess they put it into Super Saiyan mode or whatever, and that makes the math okay. All right, so I'm 52, waiting on first denial. It's been 90 days, and they asked me to fill out functional paperwork, so 3373, and a jobs paperwork 3369. What's taking them so long to turn me down? Well, what's probably happening at 52 is they want to send you to what's called a vocational, or sorry, an MECE. I don't trust that dog. She just ran out. Layla, or Sweetie. Sweetie. I don't trust that dog at all. So what happens is this. At DDS, Tony, at DDS, they normally send people to what's called an MECE, a medical expert consultative examination. That's where they send you to their doctor. They pay for their doctor to look at you in their highly biased eyes, very pro-SSA, very anti-claimant. And basically what happens is, it's a situation. Now she came back. She's chewing on a roll of dog poop bags. You know, like you buy them on eBay and they're super cheap and they come in a roll and yada yada yada. So she's chewing on a brand new roll right now, which is actually not a bad toy for her unless she chokes on it and dies. So it'd be a horrible toy. Let me see. Let me see. Let me go find her. Hold on. Let me just. Sweetie. Sweetie. Huh. Sweetie. I will be right back, guys. Give me 1 second. Sweetie. Okay, so she had ripped into a treats bag. I got her back, but you know, you gonna be good? You gonna be a good girl? Okay. Up those appointments to go to those CE doctors because of the whole COVID thing. And what's happening is, don't eat the chair. Actually, you can eat this chair. I hate this chair. So what's happening is, basically, these doctors are now able to see people that are paid for by the SSA. So the reason it's taking so long for them to just make a choice is because only since Monday, and they're totally overloaded, like trying to get all these people to go see these doctors. Only since Monday have they been able to go ahead and schedule these CEMEs. So if you call them and you're like, hey, I would call them. I'd bitch and say, look, send me to your CEME. I want to get this thing done. And then, you know, call them again. If you can't get through after 2 or 3 days, call this, you know, DDS 0 hashtag, and that'll get you to, you know, the ask them for the manager of the extension number that you have for your person, and then basically go say, hey, can you go nudge my DDS rep to go ahead and set my CE? That way you're good to go. So yada yada. And she just ran off. All right, so let's keep rolling. Let's see. Okay, I just got my back pay today. Does that mean I won? Yeah, that means you won. Initial filing denial was in January, recount denied in April, phone hearing scheduled on August 25th. All right, so Michael J., do you have an attorney? I'm assuming you have an attorney. Let's see, Babe Chuba. No, she already chewed into a bag. She just ran off to it again. I'm sure she'll eat the whole thing by the time I get over there. And there's not that many in it, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, Barbara called because it's good practice. And you have to talk to the judge anyway. Yeah, you can always call me on the phone right here, and I'll run questions with you. That's fine. Which is weird because people call me all day long from the YouTube thing. They're like, oh, I saw you on YouTube. It's just, it's incredibly odd for me. And here's the thing. People call me all day long about the YouTube channel wanting me to run questions with them. But I'm like, hey, just do it 8 to 10 on Thursday night. And then they're afraid to call. Anyway, so let's see. No, she has tons of chew toys. She's just being a bad dog. Haha, still going through the process. I know I'm freaking out too. My lawyer keeps telling me I'll be good. How can he say I will be good if I had denials? Well, that's because he knows the record. I'm sure he's briefed it and reviewed it at this point. All right. Hi. Mikey said, I'm 51 and having a hearing with the ALJ with my lawyer over the phone. I have severe bipolar disorder. Are there advantages or disadvantages to hearing over the phone? All right. So here are the advantages. you can have a piece of paper in front of you, kind of like the one that Layla is right now, or Sweetie is right now tearing up, that has a list of all of your impairments, that has a list of all of your medications, that has a list of what the medications are for, that has a list of side effects of those medications, that has a list of the functional activities that we use socially: cooking, cleaning, laundry, transportation, groceries, and why you can't do those functions. You can have a list in front of you that normally, if you were to go into a hearing, the judge will be like, oh, no, put that away. You put it away. And that's what the judge will usually do. One of the judges in Orlando is really like snippy whippy with that. So, but the cool thing is you can have your pre-prepared notes with you, right? None of them right now are saying, do you have anything in front of you? None of them are saying that. The only things that they're saying are, you have to be in a separate room and you can't be recording. Only I can be the one recording. And the reason they do that is because they don't want somebody going ahead and basically recording it when they go off the record. They only want to be recorded on the record. All right. So what are the disadvantages of doing a telephonic hearing? Well, let's call it like it is. Sometimes the judge, it helps when you walk in with a walker or a cane or a crutch or whatever, or you're in a wheelchair. You know, it helps the judge to see the disabled state you are in. It helps if if you're claiming you're homeless, the judge can see that you're actually homeless. It helps to have visual effects because they can connect to you on a much higher level. So let's say you have PTSD or you have some sort of issue relating to your mental inability. So let's say whatever, but you have to tell a story as part of it. If you go ahead and tell a story over the phone, you are not visually interacting with the judge on that additional level. It's kind of like the difference between trying to connect to a story that's read to you versus a movie that you're watching on TV. Movie, it immerses you at a much higher level versus the radio. You really have to use your imagination to go ahead and get into the War of the Worlds, So that's kind of one of the big things that is not a bueno. But here's the other thing, too. A lot of you guys get really scared and you freak out when you're sitting in front of a judge that's lifted up higher than you on the little wooden bench, So this is not always a bad thing. This is not always a bad thing. All right, so Michael J., here's the thing. Your attorney by now should have created an opening statement, a brief, make sure your medical records are all up to date and everything's submitted, and chosen an alleged onset date with you. Those are the top things that they should have done. There's other stuff, but that's like the main, parts of the cheese wheel that you need to make have gotten done of all the little slices. Okay, so let's see. And Blake Stillman, no, you will lose. Actually, my girlfriend is bipolar and she won. Good for you, Blake. I'm glad you won your case. Really not you're mad. CME, why would I be mad? Happy for you. Because when my friend won before me, I was pissed. Yes, I do have an attorney. Okay, cool. I would have walked in with my service dog. Yeah, so that's a great example. If you have a service dog, then that would have been a great graphic for entering the room. Now, look, some of these judges are hyper jaded. When I say the word jaded, what I really mean is like nuclear bombs blow up in front of them and they're like, next question. So what I'm getting at is sometimes people will be rolled in, with a wheelchair or a walker or whatever. But here's the thing about service dogs. If I were an administrative law judge, the weakness I have is for animals. I like animals a lot more than people. So the reality is I would have to work very hard in only that instance to be neutral towards somebody that gave a dog a chance at doing an amazing purpose and job. And it would be very hard for me to remove my wanting to find them disabled so that the dog would lead a better life. I would have a very difficult time with that. And I can feel that that would be very difficult for me. All right. So is Medicare more expensive on SSDI versus SS? SS is Social Security. So, well, no, Medicare. All right. So sometimes they can take out a portion for Medicare, but for the most part, it's extremely cheap. And remember, you get Medicare after 24 months of waiting to go on to SSDI. So do you mean in the sense of like Medicare? Just help me out with that one a little bit more, Susan. I'm sure. Direct me with specificity on what you're looking for. Is there a timeline that Social Security needs to follow to issue an approval or denial? Why their incompetent administrative process backed up business and profession code of okay, yeah. So basically, some states, they have to render a decision within 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, stuff like that. Florida does not have that. Also, some of the judges that take the longest to give a decision, just so you know, those judges basically tend to give favorable decisions, so nobody complains. If your claim is taking a really long time, that could be a good sign or it could be a bad sign. Let me kind of explain real quick, Chris, how the whole decision-making process works with the judges. A judge will be in the hearing and write down a bunch of notes or type out a bunch of notes. It depends on how old they are and whether or not they have a Mont Blanc or a keyboard. And so what that equates to is basically a situation where they'll take those notes, they'll go to their writer. What is their writer? The writer is another attorney that works for the judge that writes briefs on behalf of the judge. These administrative law judges process around 2 claims per day. They decide about 2 claims per day. They do that by utilizing their writer. Now, 99% of the time, the writer will follow what the judge wants them to do. But 1% of the time, the writer will screw up royally and write the wrong kind of outcome. There are 3 outcomes. The writer has to usually write a brief, which could be 10 pages, it could be 20 pages, it could be 30 pages. The outcomes come in the following flavors. 3 fingers, there you go. Unfavorable. Partially favorable, there it is. Partially favorable. And I used to play guitar. I mean, what's wrong with me? And fully favorable. Unfavorable, you're not disabled. So sorry, so sad. Partially favorable, they moved your alleged onset date usually forward in time, sometimes backwards in time, but you're still being found disabled. Fully favorable, the amended alleged onset date or the original onset date that you chose is being used. Ergo, you are being found disabled from that date. Yay, life is good. It takes them on average 3 to 4 months. When people are like, oh, it takes 60 to 30 days or 60 to 90 days. That's not actually accurate. It takes them on average between 90 days and 120 days. Now, because a lot of them are home faster, because, and I don't know why this is such a crazy idea to people, but when people work from home and they're professionals, you actually get a lot more work done, especially if they are government employees, unless we're talking about the government employees that watch Netflix all day, in which there are a couple of those that do that. You know, we're talking about Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime Video, Hulu, you know, they got the whole schmutz. They got the earphones in the back office where, you know, it's Bluetooth. There are those employees that work for the OHO hearing offices. It's okay, though, because they have to produce so much work within a certain amount of time. Okay, so is there a timeline that Social Security needs to follow to issue an approval or denial? Some states require it within 60 days or 90 days, but most of the states don't have a requirement. And remember, if you call them and you poke them, it's very easy for the judge to say, oh, well, I was leaning towards an approval, but since you were so mean to my clerk, I'm going to deny you. And that happens when people really get on the clerk. All right. Keep in mind, guys, I'm not all the way down. I'm just going to follow these things as I go down. Is he looking his dog? I was looking for my dog. Yeah, she's a new little puppy, 4-month-old, who's not sweet. Unknown. My lawyer won't hardly tell me anything, rushes me off the phone, and we're a month away from my hearing. Should I dump him and get a new lawyer? Unknown. Here's the thing. And I don't want, okay, look, I tell everybody the same thing when it comes to this whole thing. You should give your attorney the opportunity to not be an expletive. You should give your attorney the opportunity to fix the problem. And if they are unwilling to fix the problem, then just get another attorney. You need to be represented by somebody in the room who actually believes that you're disabled. If the attorney doesn't believe you're disabled, they're not going to convince the judge that you're disabled. That's just it. Like, if I don't believe you're disabled, I don't want your claim, because it's just a waste of my time. It's just a waste of my time if I don't believe you're disabled. That's why you got to find an attorney, if you're not happy with your attorney, that believes you are disabled. Look, unknown, here's the thing. Ask your attorney what his plan is for the claim, or to put it in the way that the judges go, what is your theory of the claim? What is your theory of disability? And what the judge is asking the attorney is then, in the subsequent process elements for the claim, why should I approve this, right? Boil it down. I remember the first time a judge asked me that, my mind was blown. I was like, what's the theory? Oh my God, there's so many things that it could be. Now at this point, the more you do this, and I've done thousands and thousands and thousands of these, not just my firm, but other firms as well, The more you do this, you realize what the judge is saying to you. What the judge is saying to you is, there's a problem in the record. I saw what the problem is. You tell me what we're going to do about it. The week now that I prepare these opening statements a certain way and I address the issue, the particular issue, and I don't go crazy with my giant write-ups, I just make them 3 paragraphs and that's an opening statement. The crazy thing is that judges are now having conversations with me before the hearing about what's going on, right? Still, your testimony is relevant, which means you can make or break your claim. But the bottom line is we're figuring out ahead of time how we're going to actually adjudicate this claim. The judge makes the decision, but the judge is using the guidance that I gave them by putting a bow on it, by giving them an opening statement that's pretty straightforward to read. So, all right, let's go to the next thing. So yeah, unknown, get a new attorney. I would have walked in with my service dog. Yeah, cool. If you had done that, I would have been probably petting your dog, which I know is not appropriate, but I don't care. I have a hearing in July. Emmy said I was okay to work, but I'm on so much medicine, 6 different ones for depression and anxiety. Do you think I have a case? So sleepy all the time. Okay, so Geneva, the big thing is when you talk about, for example, your limitations pertaining to your side effects from your medications, I want you to think about things this way when you approach the hearing. Your impairments, category 1. Your medication, category 2. Symptoms of your impairments, stuff that you can't do because of your impairments. Lifting, walking, standing, concentrating, focusing, completing tasks, starting tasks, leaving things open, close, things that you can't do because of your impairments. Medications, side effects, things that you can't do because of your side effects, right? And what are your side effects? Sleepy? That's not good enough. And 6 medications. Go look up your medications, figure out what the valid side effects are for those medications, write them all down on a list, and use that list while you're work stuff, getting along with the general public, getting along with bosses, getting along with workers, getting along with people that are in superior positions to you, being able to take blame for things. Home stuff, right? Home stuff. Being able to cook, being able to clean, being able to do laundry, being able to pay bills, yada, yada, yada. Your impairments, with your side effects, have to limit your ability to do those functions so that you get a vocational allowance. So Emmy said I was okay to work, but I'm on so much. So why did the Emmy say that you could work? Do you have the medical expert consultative examination report? Did your attorney go through it with you? Did your attorney go through what the plan was to get around that? Because the judges usually weigh very heavily the evidence that's included in the medical expert's CE, consultative examination report. So what is your attorney doing about that? How are they discrediting that medical expert? Look, Geneva, in your hearing, your attorney needs to ask you how much time that doctor spent with you. The attorney needs to ask you how much did the doctor address all of your impairments. You need to go through what happened in that, because you need to discredit or lessen the weight of the testimony evidence that that medical expert is giving on behalf of the SSA. Said we do a mock hearing 2 weeks before the hearing. Until then, I keep watching your videos. Yeah, Michael J., honestly, just keep working it. Keep working, the trick questions, stuff like that. If you want, you can always call in. I'll beat you up and run the questions with you. And that's the thing too, guys. No offense, but I haven't actually beat any of you up. When I go back and look at these and edit these things to chop them up to make them into smaller videos, I don't actually beat you guys up. All right, hold on real quick.
Bob Jones.
Okay. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot with Disability Resolution PA. Are you ready to go ahead and run some hearing questions?
Sure.
Perfect. Go ahead and put your computer on mute. That way the phone will only pick up basically the audio from the phone and not the computer. And I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay. Yeah, I'm having some difficulties with, I believe, an attorney. Trying to, I essentially gotten him or her answer a few questions for me by phone, but I'm coming up on my hearing and I can't get them to answer any further questions. In fact, it's really hard to get a hold of them now. Should I be worried?
Well, when's your hearing?
Oh, a month and a half from now.
All right. All right. Look, so here's the deal. If your attorneys are not getting to you and they're not running questions with you and they're not writing a brief on your claim and they're not prepping their opening statement and they're not making sure all the medical evidence is in and they're not grilling you to make sure you don't put your foot in your mouth, there's a problem. So if you have a hard time getting a hold of them, then that's a big problem. How do you know that they purchased all your records or what records are still outstanding?
I don't.
Okay.
That's one of
So,
my concerns.
okay. So how do you know what your earnings were by what the IRS submitted to the SSA so that you can cross-check where you worked when you worked there?
Yeah, I don't.
What about running questions with them? What questions have concerned you that they've run with you?
None.
What did they tell you about what you should do during the hearing?
They haven't yet.
Is this a big box firm? Is this a little firm? What is this?
I took some of your previous recommendations from your videos, and essentially, it's a small firm that just generally practices, disability law.
Okay. All right. So let's do this. Here's kind of the plan. You're a month and a week out, which means you've essentially got 45, or you're a month and 2 weeks out. So you've got 45 days on the clock to make this thing all come together. These are the questions that you should ask your attorney. And do you have like a pen with you and a piece of paper or a computer you could type?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, good sir. Once you're ready, let me know and I'll go ahead and start giving you the questions.
Go ahead.
What evidence do you have in the F folder? And then
you've got me. What is an F folder?
So basically inside folder, which is like their electronic folder, there's the A, B, D, E, and F. There's no C folder anymore. The F folder is the medical folder.
Okay.
So basically, let's go through that real quick. The things you want to know from them are the name of the facility, the dates of attendance, and the page count, and which ones were CEs, being those, SSA doctors. And you're going to find what they're missing.
All right.
Next question you're going to go through is, can you tell me what are the top 10 difficult questions that I will be experiencing in the hearing?
All right.
The next thing you want to ask them is, what were my earnings at the different companies that I worked for throughout the years? So you want to know the earnings and what years you worked for those companies.
Okay.
And that is contained in what's called the detailed earnings query. Again, the detailed earnings query. The next thing you want to ask them is, inside the A folder, inside the DDS DDE document, the DDS DDE document, what does your MDI hold for impairments? So what is all of that? You're asking them to go into the A folder, to go ahead and pull up a DDS document, Disability Determination Services. That was the initial filing and reconsideration group. Those were the initial baby judges before you got to the real ALJ stage. And you're going to ask them to go into a document where DDS summarized all their findings about you, specifically looking at the MDI, Medically Determinable Impairment section, which will summarize what DDS found for you were your impairments that were severe and non-severe. From them, what is your judge's percent passage rate?
They were able to give me that 18 to 25%, which is well below the national average, is what I've heard.
I mean, 18 to 20%. I mean,
18 to 25.
47% is the national average, which is the acceptable medium. And if you're talking about, for example, 18 to 25%, well, how old are you?
47.
What?
Rheumatoid arthritis, brain tumor.
What's the most severe out of all of them?
The breathing condition.
COPD. What's your COPD FEV number?
I think the last one was FEV one was 47%, 42 or 47%. I can't remember. I've had so many of them that, they kind of run together.
Okay. Did you look up basically what your listing requirements are now? How tall are you?
Oh, I think I'm about 6'1".
All right, so you're a taller guy. Hold on. Let's see, 6. All right, let's see.
I think I'm probably rounding up. But,
okay.
Yeah, 6 3/4 inch to 6'1".
Okay, so you're around 73 inches tall. That puts you into the so you said 40%, but what was your FEV1 number?
Geez, I don't remember offhand. It's 1.47 or something like that, or I'm guessing.
Okay. If it's 1.47, you would meet the listing requirements, and the judge should then approve your claim so long as your attorney doesn't butcher the amended alleged onset date. So in that regard, ... you should have a good claim. However, now you're going to have a particularly tough judge, right? So if I run some questions with you and I beat you up, you're not going to be upset, right?
No.
Okay, so okay. That's why I asked.
If I am,
yeah.
if I am, I understand that you're trying to assist me.
Okay, good. Because you ran questions with somebody today and they flipped the shit on me. They went full on panic attack mode. I'm like, whoa. All right. So good, sir. Remember, the hearing is going to go quickly. So I need you to keep up with the questions that I'm asking. If you take too slow to answer something, I'm going to go to the next question and then just keep going. So are you ready for me to begin the questioning process?
Yes.
Okay, so real quick, keep in mind, use a fake name if I ask your name throughout the process. Also, keep in mind as we go through this that you need to be able to answer the question directly in a summarized fashion, and don't go overboard with details. Don't go overboard with details because I'm just going to shred you to pieces if you do that. Okay?
Good.
Okay. Good, sir. Go ahead and state your full fake name for the record.
Bob Jones.
Date of birth, current age, and left or right-handed?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Date of birth, current age, and are you left or right-handed?
5/22 of 69, and I'm sorry, I didn't hear the second portion.
So date of birth, current age, and are you left or right-handed?
Ambidextrous.
Ambidextrous. Okay. First and foremost, I just got to jump in because otherwise beating you up on an easy one like that isn't fair. Pick a hand because if you're ambidextrous, it makes it easier for me to deny you. Pick one hand, and that hand is going to have difficulties. So which hand is going to be the hand that doesn't do well?
Both, but, right hand.
Right hand. Okay, perfect. And the reason you want to do this is that if you're ambidextrous, I get to apply the standard of your left hand being your dominant hand or your right hand being your dominant hand. So you never want to be ambidextrous for this process. So what is your height and weight, and has your weight fluctuated over the past year?
Height is 6'2", weight is 250, and yes, I've gained weight.
Okay. Did you ever work for the military? Have you ever been a citizen of another country?
Military? No. And what was the second part again?
Have you ever been a citizen of another country?
No.
Okay. Are you homeless or with a dwelling?
dwelling. It's a house, right?
It's a house. Okay. 1 story, 2 story?
1 story.
Okay. How many steps to get into the house?
None.
Do you have a wife or child or anyone else that lives with you?
Roommate.
A roommate? How old are they?
They're a senior. I don't know.
Okay.
80.
They're 80. Okay. So right off the bat, I'm thinking, okay, you can't use them as an excuse for doing things such as the laundry, the cooking, the things like that, because they're elderly. Okay. Do you receive food stamps or any other governmental program benefits via the federal, state, or county governments?
I do.
Okay. What do you receive?
$240 a month.
Currently or within the past 5 years, did you receive or achieve any permits, licenses, or allowances on behalf of the federal, state, or county governments?
I'm sorry, that was way too fast.
Currently or within the past 5 years, did you receive or achieve any permits, licenses, or allowances on behalf of the federal, or have you been within the past 5 years a member of any clubs or unions, whether for recreational or professional purposes?
No.
Okay. So help me out with this. You're not currently working, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And how long have you been not working?
5 years.
About 5 years. Okay. So walk me through, what did you used to do about 5 years ago?
I was a professional long-haul driver.
Okay. So you're an 18-wheel driver, or were you a hotshot?
Yeah, 18 wheel.
Okay. What about specialty certificates and licenses pertaining to the process of 18-wheeler driving, such as chemical licenses and things like that?
No, I mean, I have the operator's license, but that's it.
Okay. So you had a Class A or a Class B?
Class A.
Now, with this Class A license, were you also required to unload the truck, or did you just drive from point A to point B?
Yes, unload the truck.
Did you also have to load the truck?
From my last employer, correct?
Yeah, we're looking for the last one.
Okay. Yes, unload the vehicle or truck.
Since 2005 forward, walk me through, what was your longest job that you worked at?
For what time length?
Yeah, so from 2005 to the current date.
Okay, 2005 to current date. Probably 9 months.
9 months. Why so short?
Boy, I guess I've been having health problems for quite a while, and issues, stemming from that. I've had problems keeping employment.
Do you think you'd be able to do a part-time version of the job you used to do? Something like 3 or 4 hours a day?
I wouldn't meet the regulatory requirements, so no.
Okay. Why wouldn't you meet the regulatory requirements?
Well, according to the rules, you can't have respiratory illness and operate commercial vehicles.
What about if you were doing a different type of job, like where you had to go ahead and collect all the golf carts at a some sort of golf field or golf course and things like that, and bring them in? Would you be able to do something like that?
No, sir. Not with all my melees, medical melees. No.
What about something simpler, like a sedentary job, where you were able to sit for 6 out of 8 hours answering phones and basically just giving people directions to the facility and doing basic, very simple instructions as to how the company works?
I definitely could not sit for that period of time.
Why not?
Because I need to lay down. I feel, grossly fatigued most of the day, and that would be at least the main reason.
Okay, so help me out with this. So you're having a hard time with general processing of activities for a vocational track. I understand that. How many hours of a day do you think you could work doing a sedentary job?
Oh, I couldn't work. I don't believe.
You couldn't do any work?
No. I'd like to, but I certainly couldn't.
Okay. Okay. So help me out with this. You've been living at that apartment or that house for 5 years?
Yes.
Okay. You used to be a truck driver and you stopped 5 years ago, correct?
That's correct.
How do you afford your rent?
Right now, I'm in arrears with, the landlord.
Okay. And how long have you been in arrears?
Oh, 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So how have you been able to stay there?
I mean, he's pretty flexible, I guess, and he knows my situation, and I guess he has some empathy, and I still owe him, that outstanding debt, though.
Do you have a loan agreement with him?
I do. I have a rental agreement.
Okay. And help me out with this. Did you sign a new rental agreement each year?
No.
Okay. Is the person that's staying with you paying rent?
They would be the owner.
I got it. Okay. Okay, so help me out with this. You're staying at this location. What does the owner require you to do to be able to stay there?
Makes essentially a promise that I will pay him what I owe him.
Okay. And what about in the meantime? What do you help out with? What about cooking, cleaning, stuff like that?
I'm unable to. I help. I can't do much. At all. So I try to clean up after myself, and that's all that is required.
Okay. So you don't do any of your own laundry?
I do laundry very, very rarely.
Do you have a laundry machine?
I do.
Okay. And when you say rarely, how often?
It's been a month or so since I've done my laundry.
Okay. So basically, you get a big pile and then you do it.
No. Well, I don't have a lot of clothing,
Mm-hmm.
and secondly, if I'm able to do laundry when I'm able, it piles up and it sits for long periods of time until I'm able to do anything, or it gets, it just sits.
Okay. So it just sits. So would you say you have a full basket load at that point?
Oh, easily. I mean, basket load. Yeah, easily.
And how many rooms away is the laundry room?
It's from where?
Oh, from your room.
2 rooms or so. 3 rooms.
So what do? You just kind of drag the basket over there?
It's usually, put items out near the laundry machine. A single or a day's clothing.
So when you say you put items out, what do you mean?
At a time, I'm unable to carry a bunch of stuff out there at once.
Okay. So walk me through this. You begin doing laundry. How many days does it take for you to complete all that laundry?
Oh, months.
Months? Okay.
Believe it or not.
That's fine answer. Okay. Gotcha. Is this a combo machine where it's on top of the other, or is this a machine where there's 2 side by side?
No, it's a side-by-side or individual machine.
Okay. And help me out with this. When you go ahead and do your laundry, you're required to do the owner's laundry as well?
Oh, no.
Okay.
There's no way I could do that.
Why not?
I don't have the energy. I don't have the physical stamina. Like I said, I'm kind of fatigued, or extremely fatigued most of the time. Short of breath, dyspneic. I'm also in pain from my arthritic conditions, inflammatory arthritis.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And also, I have bouts. I don't know what this syndrome is called with the brain tumor, pumping out hormones where, I can't,
Mm-hmm.
essentially lay down.
Okay. So,
Dead most of it.
gotcha. Okay. So let me help you. Let me ask this. You have to clean the place, and I'm guessing the 80-year-old isn't doing a lot of cleaning. So who does the cleaning?
Well, you wouldn't want to live here because of that.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sure at some point you clean, right?
Very rarely.
Very rarely.
And define clean, please, because cleaning to us is maybe cleaning the bread crumbs off the counter into the sink.
Okay. So help me out with this. So you're not doing a lot of laundry, but for once a month, you're not cleaning much other than to do the bare minimum. What about buying groceries? So where do you go for that?
I go to the grocery store when I'm able to.
So help me out with this. What kind of car do you own?
An old vehicle.
What kind?
Truck.
It's an old truck? Okay, gotcha. What kind of truck is it?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm a truck guy. I like trucks. When you say old, I'm thinking 40s, 50s, 60s, or are you talking about 70s, 80s, 90s?
Oh, a 90s model.
90s model. Okay. A Ford? Is it a Chevy? A GM? Is it a Dodge?
It's a Dodge.
Okay. What size is it?
It's just their mid-level pickup truck.
So it's kind of like the 1500 version?
No, it's smaller than that. It's Dakota, I think they call it.
I gotcha. Okay. So then help me out with this, with that particular, vehicle. How far do you have to drive to go ahead and be able to get to the grocery store?
2 miles.
2 miles. Okay. So not very far. Are these country roads or are these just, regular city roads?
City streets.
Okay. And, how long does it take for you to get over there?
Oh, I don't know. 5-10 minutes.
5-10 minutes. Okay. And then once you go into the grocery store, I'm assuming, you go in, you get your cart, you begin shopping. How long does the shopping take you?
Oh, it varies. If I'm feeling better, it may be, 20 minutes. If I'm not, I'm just, 5-10 minutes, enough to get in, get what I need, and get out.
Okay. So walk me through this. When you do these things, or do you have any orthopedic devices? Do you have any ambulatory devices? Anything like that?
I don't. Oxygen.
Oxygen. Do you have a little oxygen cart with you?
Some of the times, yes. Most of the time, I can't. I haven't been able to get enough supplemental oxygen supplies, so I just have to tough it out, and my oxygen saturation levels drop. But I have no choice other than to starve.
Do you have?
Try to get us.
Yeah. Do you have? Does the grocery store have mobility carts?
They do.
Okay. But you don't use those, correct?
I do some of the times, but most of the times I'm unable to find any, and it's hard for me to steer them.
What's the name of the store since it's in the city?
Walmart.
Oh, so this is a big store. It's a really big store.
Most of them are nowadays.
Okay. So you're able to walk through the store, and now Walmart's, they have a bunch of those carts. They line them up. Why do you have a hard time at your Walmart?
I guess they're not as well stocked with them as your store where you've had experiences at.
Okay. So you finish up, you get your groceries, you take them back to the car.
You know, I can only have enough strength to essentially be there for a short period of time and get maybe enough for something quick to eat. Some take it TV dinner or something.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, walk me through this. So you don't have a lot of strength. You're able to get some groceries. How do you pay for the gas for your automobile?
Oh, yeah, that's that money that I mentioned that I get from the state. What do they call it? I don't know. It's state disability.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and what state do you live in?
New Mexico.
Mm-hmm. And help me out with this. So when I asked you before about the benefits, you were talking about mostly food stamps. And so what are you getting from the state as part of state disability?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What are you getting on top of that on behalf of the state for state disability benefits? So you got your food stamps, and then what else do you get?
I get money for disability.
Yes, and what's the
State
amount?
disability.
Yeah.
It's like $240 a month.
So the 240 is for state disability, but does that include food stamps?
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to ask you once again to repeat yourself. I'm sorry.
Sure, no, that's no problem. So walk me through the benefits you receive. You get food stamps, you get state disability benefits. State disability benefits are 240. Does that include the food stamps, or is the food stamps a different amount?
The food stamps are a different amount.
Okay, and how much do you get in food stamps?
$198 a month, I think it is.
Okay, excellent. So you're able to afford gas, the insurance based upon the state disability benefits you receive, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Does the state disability office give you anything in addition to that, such as somebody who comes over and visits you and helps you with things?
No.
Why weren't you afforded that when you get out of breath and you're so tired?
I didn't know I was eligible for those services.
If you have such a difficult time walking and standing, why don't you use something like a walker or a wheelchair?
It doesn't help me. It's a hindrance.
It's a hindrance, okay.
And when I'm at the grocery store, I use either one of those carts that you're talking about, or a regular push cart.
Okay.
And so.
Okay. What are examples of items that you traditionally buy when you go to the grocery store?
Usually quick type of meals, TV dinners, but just stuff that's quick and easy to make. It's already pretty much put together for me, that I just have to put in the microwave or heat up in a pot or something.
So you don't do much cooking anymore?
Oh no.
Okay. So let me ask you this: how long can you stand before you have to sit down?
That varies, but I 20 minutes. Some of the times I have to sit down while I'm over there. Usually not that long.
you're doing this stuff. You're basically going through everything. That makes sense. Help me out with this. All right, I'm going to help you out with where I would normally attack the hell out of you, because I can tell I'm losing you at this point. You're falling asleep. So I'm going to, instead of attacking you on this, I'm going to kind of help you with what to watch out for.
My oxygen levels are getting low. So.
Yeah, no, I can hear it. So here's the thing to watch out for. I'm setting you up to be over how you carry the groceries from the grocery store at Walmart down all those aisles. You put in the cart, and then you get to the thing, and then you take them, and then you put them into your car. You get home, and then you've got to carry them from your car into the house. So I'm getting to the point where I'm going to beat you up about what you can or cannot lift, because you've got to show that you can lift less than 10 pounds.
Sure. I appreciate that, sir.
So one of the things that I want you to watch out for is that you want to be, able to sit for less than 30 minutes, stand for less than 30 minutes, walk for less than 50 feet, those kinds of things. Walmarts are big. So, just think in the judge's head. And I know when I said, which place it is, you paused because you were trying to figure out how to get around that particular issue. And then the other thing you did, which was very good, was you asked me to repeat the question because you were trying to refocus and figure out how you're going to answer it, which was excellent. That was very good. So let me ask you this. There are things in the environment. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I can walk more than 50 foot at times. I can't, I could. If that's the cutoff, then obviously I'm not disabled. So.
Well, let me ask you this. How far is 50 feet to you?
That's a hard one for me to put into words. I don't think
Okay. What about bus lengths? What about car lengths?
Probably 2 bus lengths or something.
You think buses are that long?
No. Probably. I don't know.
Okay, so we're talking about the big buses, the school buses, the travel buses that are the big ones, the full length.
I would say they're that long.
All right. So one thing, if I were the ALJ, that I would have immediately gone to in my head is, why is this truck driver telling me he doesn't know what 50 feet is when the length of a truck, trailer is 53 feet?
Well, I don't have a bus driver endorsement, so I don't know the particulars, nor have I operated,
You used to operate, a 53 footer, right?
I've operated those and others. Yes, correct. Okay. But never a bus. I guess a city bus. My estimate would be that they're 50 foot long, maybe 70, maybe 75.
Let me ask you this: if you could walk 200 feet, how many times during an 8-hour period could you walk 200 feet?
Without stopping?
Yeah.
Was that a yes?
Yeah, you're going to walk 200 feet, and you're going to stop for a quick rest, and then keep going.
I'm sorry, there was some latency there.
Okay. So basically what I'm looking for, and this is what the judge will be doing, because I'm tricking you into answering things in a way that would not work for your claim. What I'm getting at here is, if you can walk more than 50 feet, then why not 200 feet? And if you can walk 200 feet, then why couldn't you walk it as part of a normal job? I would say without breaks, it's so hard. But what if I gave you a bunch of breaks? What if I gave you a 20-minute break in between each? Couldn't you walk it? What if you were a security guard? You had to take an ID badge from your belt, put it into a door frame, reach certain checkmark points, right? So
Correct.
You tell me, how far do you think you can actually walk?
I don't know, a couple of times, 200 feet, 300 feet, maybe once a week, or, I have problems, even going and getting groceries. So and I know, I probably walked that in a grocery store, but, so once a week, once or twice a week at most. All the rest of the times I would not, if I wasn't hungry, I wouldn't, I wouldn't be able to walk that far.
Okay. So what I'm getting at is that I'm trying to show that vocationally you can do an 8-hour job. And if you're walking 200-300 feet, you could do it sometimes, but now you're saying you couldn't do it, that many times during a week versus a day. And now you're saying something different. Let me ask you this. What's your highest level of education?
I've had some college.
Some college. Okay. How college?
Boy, I've done some coursework.
Well, what is that? How many years of college? Yeah.
I don't know how many quarters that would add up to. I don't know.
Well, how many years were you? How many years were you in college?
I've made multiple attempts at multiple times throughout the years to do college coursework.
Okay.
And some of the times, I was not able to complete classes. Some of the times I was. I don't know what my total credit hours would be.
Okay. Why did you have such a tough time in school? What was so difficult?
Well, that was a long time ago. I mean, so been in school years.
Other than, of course, doing the certification process for the Class A, correct?
For the Class A?
Yeah, the Class A license that you use. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Class A was a number of years ago. I've also done subsequent college coursework.
So when was the last time you did college coursework?
Early 2000s.
When did you start developing the brain tumor issue?
I'm sorry, what was the brain tumor issue?
You have a brain tumor, correct?
Yes, yes.
When did that start to develop?
I don't know. It was discovered here several, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. No, 6 or 7 years ago.
So are they going to operate? Are they going to treat it with some sort of therapy? What are they doing about it?
I've had medical therapy, all the other, I've made attempts at getting surgeries done, but for, multiple different reasons, that's never worked out. And also the success rate in the surgeries is extremely poor and could cause me further difficulties, health-wise, can hurt me. So I've essentially opted not to have that done, but that's, the pain and discomfort that I suffer from it at times and all the symptomology, I'm reconsidering operations if, I can find a surgeon who does.
Okay. So now look, I'm starting to lose you. Your voice is dropping off. You're tired. You don't have enough air. The hearing, when you do this, your questioning is going to be between 15 to 30 minutes. So you're going to have to be pumping air into your system to make it through this, because we've been on the phone for 41 minutes, right? And probably about 15 minutes into this, I started to lose you. And it was super obvious to me prepped, which means your attorney didn't go through questions with you, which means you don't know when the silver bullet's heading your way. So what can you do to prep your body so that you can make it longer while answering these questions?
I'll probably be on my supplemental oxygen, and
yeah.
And even at times when I have that, it's still some confused thinking. So
yeah, and I think part of it too is that to me, I know that you're having a hard time. You're struggling to get oxygen. Your brain's not getting oxygen. I'm talking quickly. There's a lot of questions. You're trying to figure out how to answer them properly based upon what you've learned. A lot's going on, you know. Just give your brain the best shot, because when you're in there, if I feel like you are pulling, you know, punches and changing answers and trying to shape things for me, right, then it makes me feel like you're lying to me. And we didn't even go into the tough stuff yet about cigarettes, alcohol, drugs. There's something somewhere I can attach to. So
yeah, I haven't done any of those things and don't have any of those disabilities. So.
Gotcha. Well, that's good. That's very good. All right. Do you have any questions for me? Because I did miss a couple of calls while we were on the phone. Do you have any questions for me about the process or anything at all?
Am I still disabled, or could be found disabled even though I can walk more than 50 foot at times?
Yeah. But remember, if you're walking 200 feet and then you have a little break and you can walk another 300 feet, that doesn't look too good. That's like a job right there, you know?
Okay. All right.
And that's a walking job.
How much of a break in between?
You're looking for a 10-minute break. You walk 50 feet. You have to stop. You have to get oxygen. You have to go ahead and basically stand. You can't be doing this outside. You have to be in air conditioning. You have to limit what you have to actually stand up and over, like curbs and things like that. You can't climb stairs. You can't climb ladders. You can't climb anything like a rope or scaffold or anything like that. You have to limit it to flat ground.
Okay. Mm-hmm. In your opinion, do I need another attorney from what I've told you?
I don't know. Look, if you sent me your medical record and I looked through it, I could tell you, you know, what looks good, what doesn't look good. Based upon the FEV number you gave me, that looks pretty good. You got a brain tumor that's obviously, you know, kind of limiting some factors there. You're running out of breath as we're running questions, which is a good sign that you don't have the ability to do a vocational track that involves talking. You're somehow going to get into some trouble with the questions about transportation, unloading and loading groceries. You're also going to get into trouble when it comes to questions relating to doing laundry with the massive amount that you have to do, because, you know, most people, it's like, oh, I do a thing a week. A thing a week is a lot better than I do it once a month, sometimes every 2 months. Because when you do it once a month or sometimes every 2 months, we're talking about the mountain of laundry. That means you're lifting a lot. That means you're using a lot of soap. That means you're spending a lot of time working on that. Why not work at a laundromat? You know, so look, and keep in mind too, you might have a nice judge, but we both know you don't. You got, you know, that 18 to 25 percentile judge, which means, you know, and remember too, there's two types of mean judges. There's mean judges that dismiss judges that do with asking you a bunch of questions. Both end up with a negative where you got to go to the potential appeals council and then maybe federal district court. So the one question I think you should ask your attorney too is, attorney, are you certified to do district court hearings or you know, adjudications? Are you certified to do district court? Because if your attorney isn't,
barred.
Say it again.
They're barred to do that, but my attorney, when I talked to him, said that he would, you know, take me through the hearing, but he wouldn't, you know, appeal it to the appeals council or take it to federal district court. So.
Well, how do you know they're barred to do that? Because they're Florida, the bar just gets them so that they can do, like, you have to have another certification to be able to do federal level.
Well, they told me they could do appeals up into federal court, up into and through federal court.
So they are certified.
They are, allegedly.
Okay, a little bit of wiggle room there, a little gray area. Okay, and you know, the reason I bring this up is that this is not a claim that one would likely lose because basically you've got an 18 to 25 percentile passage rate ALJ because you have that low passage rate judge, and you said you were 47.
Correct.
Yeah, very likely to get a potential denial through this judge. I hope you get approved, but just without seeing the medical evidence and knowing the basic structure of this thing, you're probably going to get a denial. I hope you get approved, which means you got to be planning on appeals council and federal district court. If you were 50, this would be a grid out claim, which means it would go through, but you're not. You're 47, and you can't even negotiate close to 50 because you're not 49, which would wipe out your back pay, but then you'd be close. You'd still get a check every month for forward pay. So what I would say is this. I would ask your attorney, do you feel that this judge will approve this claim? Judge will approve this claim.
they don't know the judge. It's a phone interview from a judge out of state, so they don't know the judge. And I'm hoping that can you actually can one get another judge for the reason of, say, I'm unable to get in front of him so he can see me, and or would that not work?
You can demand a hearing in person and say that you don't feel comfortable with the telephonic hearing, in which they will change the judge to being an in-person hearing that they'll set up after the COVID stuff, which means you'll wait another 4 or 5 months, and then you'll get a new judge.
Okay. Do you think that's a reasonable thing to do in my situation with a judge who has 18% rating?
So here's the thing. I just got to shut this little alarm off. So here's the thing. I, as an attorney, cannot advise you to do things that would undermine the process of adjudication for judges to review your claim, which is what that advising would be if I said that's how you go ahead and pick a different judge. However, with that said, you have to ask your attorney what they feel would be proper for your claim as to whether or not an in-person judge would be more appropriate for the impairments that you have, especially considering you run out of air while talking and can't communicate at a level in which a job would very much so likely require.
All right.
So do you think it would be better if a judge could see you running out of air, or just hear you running out of air?
Well, I guess that would be really subjective. I don't know.
Well, let me put it to you another way. If you walked into a hearing room with your oxygen tank, and you walked in,
sure.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I think a new judge would, be better.
Okay, cool.
Or a judge see me, So.
Right. Now, I can't advise you towards that, but that is an option.
Yeah, I understand you're only giving me assistance. So.
Yeah. So.
Okay,
right.
okay, and my concern is my attorney. He told me he'd take me to trial or the hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the judge being an 18%er. By what he's telling me there is what I'm hearing is that, he's still pretty confident, or I don't know. He also said, or we could, just start your case over again. So,
Why would you start your claim over?
It might be shorter if I have to, if I don't win at the hearing level, So.
Okay, so if your attorney is so assured of the claim, you know what? I'm not going to beat on your attorney. I'm sure your attorney is a nice person. I'm sure they're a great guy or female or whoever. This is what I would say. It is very important that your attorney has a sound structure to the plan that they are going to use for your hearing. So I know, Nikki, you're right. I know I'm going to grab another claimant. But here's the thing. I need you to understand that your attorney should be able to read the opening statement to you. And in that opening statement, it should explain why you should be found disabled based upon the 5-step sequential process. With an 18 to 25% passage rate judge, it's not going to be a fair adjudication compared to what's normally seen out in the general, national economy for judges that exist. So you have to understand and plan that this is going to be a denial for appeals counsel review, and not plan right off the bat to just go ahead and refile.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll ask him those. I guess. I appreciate all your time, sir.
Good.
Thank you for your good service to myself.
Good. Excellent. Good, sir. I'll catch you later. Have a wonderful evening.
Okay. I'll give you thumbs up, too.
Thank you. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
Hey, give your dogs a pat for me too. They're great.
I will. They are little snuggle bunnies. Indeed. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, perfect. So things to pick up from that claim. That's a gentleman who basically has difficulty with breathing, which is super important to have in-person hearings for, because it shows an inability to keep up with other workers in the national economy. And what you're looking at with that is, can the person keep up with an average employee, same age, doing the same kind of gig? And we both know, no, that person can't. Hold on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. Oh, hold on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. Are you ready to run some hearing questions?
I am, please. Thank you.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and begin. Madame, go ahead and state your fake name for the record.
Jennifer Jones.
Excellent. Can you walk me through, what are your top 5 impairments?
I have IBS-D, which is like the main problem that I'm struggling with. I'm in the bathroom like 16, 17 times a day on a bad day. I mean, I have diabetes, I have anemia, I have celiac, I have a bunch of other diagnoses that I can't think of right now, but I'll have that written down.
Perfect.
But, I mean, okay.
First thing I need you to do is that when you talk about bathroom usage, you need to break it up into hours, because that's how they think of it on an 8-hour workday. How many times do you have to use the bathroom per hour?
At least one time an hour.
Okay. And when you go use the bathroom that one time, it would be better if it's 1 to 2. But if you go use the bathroom for one time, how long does it take per average?
20 minutes.
So it's 20 minutes. Okay, gotcha. So now, and here's what we're looking for. This is an off-task type of claim. This is where you're going to be too off-task to be able to be hired and keep the job. So can you tell me what other things limit your ability to be on task during an 8-hour workday?
I have bursitis in my left, and I can't sit, stand, or walk for very long.
Okay.
And I have nerve damage in both of my thumbs, and I've got I have no grip in my right, which is my dominant hand. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm constantly worried that, you know, I'm gonna have another accident. So I'm very concerned all day long. I'm very anxious because, you know, this disease has gotten me like really bad.
So help me out with this. Those are your impairments. What medications are you currently taking? What are they for? And what side effects do you get per each?
I take, for my IBS, I have dicyclomine and pantoprazole. And I just got a new prescription. Oh, and both of those medicines were doubled in dosage in the past couple of months. I take a new medication. I don't know the name of it. It's a powder. I'll find that name. That I have a lot of problems with. So I should be taking it, but that causes the exact opposite. And if that's the case, like I get constipation, and I'm like, I am just in like such excruciating pain. Oh, and I also can't take pain medicines except for like ibuprofen. I cannot take any narcotics.
Why not?
My whole body turns into a hive. I have like I guess it would be called an anaphylactic, you know, response. And I vomit for hours.
All right. My brain is thinking you vomit for hours. How is that physically possible? Because you should have put in there a statement about dry heaves.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. And the reason why is...
If I have it...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. So I was in a hearing with her, not particular names, but she's very bright. She is extremely intelligent and knows the system backwards and forwards. And frankly, she just makes me go, ooh, how did I miss that? If you go to the bathroom once or twice every hour, you would be spent. You couldn't keep up. You wouldn't be able to have all the food in you to go ahead and go to the bathroom. You wouldn't be able to have all the fluid in you to go to the bathroom. So when you're saying you're going to the bathroom once or twice per hour, you said once, I'm adding twice, and then you're throwing up for hours. What are you throwing up?
Oh, no. That's, I don't feel, the only reason I throw up is if I would take a narcotic.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying.
Okay, gotcha.
That's why I can't take narcotics.
Okay. What side effects do you get from these medications?
I mean, they make me drowsy, very drowsy. But I mean, I don't really think I have any other side effects.
Okay. So you just drowsy? That's it? You're how many medications are you taking?
I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 prescribed, and I also take supplements.
Okay.
To try and help.
So your pill jar for the week is filled. I mean, this is a massive amount of medication.
Yeah, I have a box. It's a huge box.
Your box.
Well,
okay.
not huge.
Okay. So
12 by 20.
So you have the Milwaukee Power Tool Edition box of medication. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And you just have one side effect, and you're maybe not really sure about it.
Right.
So have you ever viewed all the side effects that are available online as to each medication to pick out which ones are potentially, that you have?
I have not. Good idea. Let me write that down.
Yeah, write that down because that's super duper important, because the side effects that you get limit the ability that you can do certain types of work. And let me tell you, if you're on that many medications, we can't put you on machines. We can't put you on a line. We can't put you around hot things. We can't put you around cold things. We can't put you around sharp things. We can't put you around things that can potentially, ruin something small and delicate. We can't even put you around fruit because you might squish it. So, okay. Walk me through this. All right, let's go straight to now. Let's go to the drugs, alcohol, tobacco, anything like that in your record.
No.
Okay, so we're gonna skip those.
Yeah.
I
used to vape. I smoked like years and years ago.
Yeah.
I haven't smoked in like over a decade, but occasionally I do vape, but I haven't really done it lately.
Okay. So sometimes you vape. Got it. Help me out with this. Where are you currently working?
I'm not working. My last date of employment was May 15th of 2019.
Why'd you stop working?
Sorry?
Why did you stop working?
I lost my job.
Okay, so you were fired. What happened?
I was not at my desk. I was just not at my desk. And if I wasn't in the bathroom, I was home, like just being sick.
What kind of job was it? What kind of job was it?
I'm sorry, say again?
What kind of job was it?
Legal secretary.
Okay. And what legal field was it in?
I did real property litigation for 13 years down here in Florida.
Yay.
I did 1 year as property, like the attorneys who worked for theme parks when there are injuries. What is that? Premises liability?
Mm-hmm.
And then I did healthcare. But I was working for 13 years in real property litigation. I had a surgery, and I came back from surgery like way too soon, and I had a nervous breakdown, and I resigned. So I let myself heal and get myself all back together. I got another job. I lost that due to absences and my problem. Went and got another job and lost it like 8 months later for the same exact reason.
Okay. I want you to summarize for me, and this is going to be tricky for you because you haven't thought about this yet. What are all the reasons why you couldn't do, oops, sorry, that's an alarm that I have to do something after these.
Okay.
I want you to summarize for me all the things that limit your ability to do a basic secretary job?
I have to go to the bathroom, like I said, like up to 16, 17 times a day. I have a lot of pain. I cannot, like I said, I cannot take real pain medicine. I have to take Advil, and my stomach doctor is like, I wish you would stop taking that, but I've got to get relief from the pain somehow. Other than that, I'm just like extremely anxious because, I mean, like I've soiled myself at the job plenty of times. So it's just like my whole life just became like anxiety and sickness, my IBS, the diarrhea.
All right, let me rephrase let me rephrase the question and then have you answer it a different way, and then you'll see kind of what I'm getting at. Walk me through this. Why wouldn't you be able to answer phone calls, file documents, interact with clients, and complete things online?
Even if I was online, I would still be in the bathroom for most of the day.
I'm being silent on purpose. I want you to fill in the gaps here.
Okay.
All right. Let me help you out. IBS, once or twice per hour, I'm 20 minutes in the bathroom. I have an inability to complete conversations with people because I have to cut them short, or I don't get them the first time around, then I have to call them back. I can't have more than 15-minute long conversations, which in the legal field is a problem. I have a difficult time focusing on completing things that have to be perfect, with dotting I's and crossing T's, which is required by the legal industry. To go ahead, anxiety related to this is I want to do a job, but I'm not able to focus to the point where I can do a good job, which ultimately angers the employers that I work for, which makes me not want to go to work in the first place.
Okay.
So let's do this now. How far away was your job from your home?
13.1 miles.
City or highway?
Well, mix of both.
How long did it take you to get from point A to point B?
In the morning, probably 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes.
45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes? Sounds like a little traffic.
In the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's only for traffic.
Okay.
At home, I get home a lot quicker.
Okay. I'm waiting for you to tell me about the specific spots that you've designated for bathroom stops along the way.
I just, like, I try and hold it as much as I can,
mm-hmm.
and take extra pill. Like, I'll take a pill right before I leave, for like an hour or two before I leave, so that I can make it home or get in. I also, if I like, when this was hitting me really hard, if I knew I was going to have a hard day, like, like a brief was due or a filing was going to be done with like 1 million exhibits uploaded to the portal, I would not eat the day before.
Let me ask you this. Well, throughout this entire process, you have not mentioned to me once the use of any apparatus or medical device or disposable item to assist you with this process. Why is that?
The only thing, like a pad,
mm-hmm.
to make sure I don't soil myself, and even that, I've even had accidents with that. I do have braces for my.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, the doctor. What does the doctor prescribe other than medication to assist you with this incontinence, with this bathroom issue?
Like I said, I just got a new prescription about a month ago. I don't know the name of it. I have it, I just don't want to waste people's time to go get it. But the prescriptions that I'm taking are dicyclomine and pantoprazole. Yeah, and this new powder that I'm starting.
All right, so help me out with this throughout this process. I have a lot of ways that I could attack you from the testimony you've given. The big thing is the whole driving experience. You were in a legal field. So how long did you work at the premises law job?
Less than a year, like 8, 9, 10 months.
And how long did you work at the other legal jobs? Just walk me through them.
I was doing real property litigation for 13 years.
Okay.
And with about 8 to 10 months as the premises liability, and then about 8 to 10 months at healthcare.
So you were doing all these things, right? And 8 to 10 months, that seems to be what your usual ability to go ahead and work there is, right? So after 8 to 10 months, you're out the door. They usually fire you, correct?
Correct.
Okay. When they fire you, how do they usually fire you?
Over the phone.
Over the phone. Okay. And help me out. They send you a letter as well, or no?
Yeah, after they've discussed it with me over the phone, because I've always been let go, like while I'm experiencing an extremely bad attack, which is when I stay home.
Right. Okay. So help me out with this. You're having these extremely bad attacks. You're not doing well. Things are becoming problematic for you. 8 or 9 months later, you get fired. How'd you get the job in the first place? So you have a bunch of connections, right? That's what you're saying. You know judges. You know all kinds of people.
Correct.
Okay. And these individuals, they help you get a job, right?
No. I just sent in my resume and got called.
Okay. Well, don't they call the other people to find out why you were fired?
I don't think they did, because I represented that I was still employed.
Okay, so you were...
I never put down that I was fired.
Okay. So basically, but didn't they call your prior employers, and didn't your prior employers say that you were terminated at some point?
No, I don't. The one that I resigned from, the one that I was at for 13 years, I resigned because I was like having a nervous breakdown. I knew I was going back to work too soon from surgery. So I resigned from there because I was having a nervous breakdown, and I needed to let my body repair itself. And when I felt better, I just sent my resume out and got hired like right away.
Okay. So there's 3 or 4 jobs here, right?
3.
Okay. So, all right. In these 3 jobs, you got hired. You made it 8 or 9 months. Then they terminated you. You weren't working enough. Throughout that process, and this is really what I'd be looking for as a judge, did you receive notifications from your bosses about what you were doing wrong or concerns that they had?
Yes.
Cool. Were they submitted to the SSA record?
I don't know that.
Well, I'm sure you have some emails from them where they're not happy with you, right?
Yeah.
And let me ask you this. What were they unhappy with?
They said concentration. They never mentioned absences, and they never mentioned medical, but they were saying, you know, you're not doing the job up to the standards that you represented you could.
The absences.
They never mentioned it.
Do you know why?
I don't know why. I always thought it was maybe to protect themselves because they knew that I was so ill. But I can't. I don't. You know, that's just a thought in my head. Don't know whether that's true or not. But I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this: do you have your absence record? Do you have the days that you were absent? Did they go ahead and make a record of that?
I do have one of them, from my last job, but my previous job would not give that to me. I requested it, but they would not give it to me.
So can you help me out with this a little bit? You made it 8 or 9 months with constantly being in the bathroom or not at work. What did the people training you have to say about this?
Training me?
Yeah, somebody had to train you.
I only received like training on their specific computer system. As for the job itself, I pretty much just knew how to do it.
Okay. Okay. So you had these bathroom issues, you had these bathroom problems, you were absent all the time. They fired you after 8 or 9 months. Did they like you at first?
Very much.
Did you receive any award?
No.
What did they do that made you think they liked you?
They would tell me this is great, fabulous. I mean, they would verbally give me accolades.
Now, help me out with this. You were able to really shine in the beginning. What happened towards the end of it that things got worse 3 times over?
The natural disease progression, or that I was just like, working. I would work later into the night to get my projects finished because I spent so much time with that. Can you ask the question again?
Okay, so what I'm getting at is I'm trying to prove that you were a liar who basically worked hard at first and then became lazy on the job. Prove me wrong. Tell me how I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, I was absent during the first, my absences were pretty consistent. Like even in the beginning.
Well, then why do they like you so much?
I would always stay late to get the job done.
Would you get the job done completely?
As much as I possibly could.
Well, what does that mean? You weren't completing tasks or you were getting them done?
There were some nights that I just couldn't, I couldn't work anymore. Like I just got so exhausted. And I would try my best to come in early to finish it. But I mean, I kind of just tried to stick it out as long as I possibly could until I got the work done.
Okay. So basically, you were able to stay late. You were able to work extra hours. You were able to make it happen so long as you could go ahead and push the work, over a longer period of time. So you could work more hours. You just had to have more bathroom breaks.
Right.
It sounds like, and one of the commenters is basically saying exactly that you got burned out.
I mean, I would say, I guess burned out from physical exhaustion.
Now, you're not spinning it well. You got to spin it based upon your bathroom use was so extreme and the stress so extreme that your IBS became worse and worse and worse as time went on. Sell me on that. Go ahead.
Well, yes, that is exactly what happened when, when I would start to fall a little behind because I was absent a little, absent.
Mm-hmm.
I would get stressed, which of course would immediately affect the IBS. That would get worse.
Mm-hmm.
I'd get more stress and exhaustion and
months to get fired each time because after 8 or 9 months you weren't showing up for work.
I was showing up, but just I was absent a lot.
Okay.
And it's pretty consistent.
Okay. Can you tell me this? You were working later in the very beginning, late into the night. What was your average length of time? You got there at what, 9? When did you go home?
Got in like between 7:40 and 8. Mm-hmm. And I would stay until 5, 6, 7. I mean, there were times that in my previous employer, I would work until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, but that was before I started getting really bad.
So when did you start getting really bad?
About 5 years ago.
Okay. What's your alleged onset date?
I don't know. I mean, I know I have a last date of employment of May 15th, but in all honesty, it would be like April of 2018.
Okay. What did your attorney say is your alleged onset date?
I've got to find out when I write that down.
Okay. Also find out what your date last insured was from your attorney.
Okay.
Okay. We've gone through a bunch of questions. Do you have any questions for me before I basically take this little monster that's in my lap that's trying to bite the hell out of me out for a walk? Any questions for me at all?
No, just my attorney, my judge, she only gets like a 29% approval rate.
Okay.
Is there anything I can do for that?
Is it a telephonic hearing?
Yes, next week.
Is the judge local?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Probably not, because if you ask for an in-person hearing, they'll just schedule it after the whole COVID thing is done. But the reality is there are things that you can do, but they're not things that as an attorney I should be discussing over the phone. But remember, you can't shop judges. That's immoral. It's unethical.
Yeah.
It's, yada, yada. You should plan more specifically for what you're going to be doing in case you need appeals counsel. So I'm assuming your attorney does appeals counsel or federal district court work.
I don't know that, but I will find out.
Cool. Other thing that I did not hear at all throughout this entire thing was a sleep study, which would prove your claim about constant bathroom use every hour, which would help win your claim.
What was that, a sleep study you said?
Yeah, a sleep study. What happens while you're sleeping?
Okay.
All right. Perfect.
Okay.
So, guys, Madame, are there any other questions that you have for me?
Are you talking to me?
Ma'am.
No, sir. Thank you so very much.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful evening. Don't be afraid to shoot me an email or give me a call in the future.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys, so we're at 1 minute and 57 seconds. We're going to go all the way to the 2-hour mark, and then I'll have to find out what little sweetie is getting into in the other rooms. I'm sure she's eaten the leather couch by now. Do you guys have any additional questions for me that we can just kind of pop right at the end of this conversation that's in the chat section so I can read them quickly? That way I can go ahead and help you out. I did see the question about doing 3 hours of this. Nah. Keep in mind, I've written 2 briefs today. I've answered over 20 phone calls. I went and picked up outside trash cans from a guy in Melbourne. So it's there, yes, it would be too late to call in now. But just catch me next week. It's no biggie. Next Thursday, 8 o'clock, right in, we'll begin with the whole thing. Do you guys have any other quick little questions I can go ahead and answer within the next minute and a half? Anything at all? What is the meaning of life? To create? What is the meaning of going to Mars? To figure out what people will be like on another planet? What is the meaning of how, I can give you an update. I haven't had enough time because I've been working so much to do a lot of space constitution stuff, but I've been growing my list of categories, at which point people get more freedoms. What is a dismal rate? What do you mean, like a dismal rate for a percentage approval? I would look up Judge, whoop, to the name there. That's a bad monkey. That's a bad monkey. Sometimes I have to be like, okay, calm down, Crocodile Hunter. Say the judge's name. There are some judges with a 9% passage rate. And like literally, when I think about what kind of disability attorney I am, I think about like literally the crocodile hunter. I think about that guy. I'm like, you know, I look at the claimant, I'm like, look at that croc, look at that Dow right there. Ah, look at that one's got a bad leg. Woo! Anyways, I'm super tired. I don't even know what that was. That's how I think of myself as the disability attorneys, you know. And this is our little show. One day we'll do it out in the wild because that's actually where this is going. We're going to be doing a lot of shows in the future outside, but just not from 8 to 10 outside because there's too many bugs. Anyways, I will catch you guys later. If you have any more questions or, you know, basically anything related to disability law or even space law, please call, reach out. But, you know, if you want to run questions, 8 to 10 Thursdays, it's 2 hours and 29 seconds, 30 seconds. I will catch you guys later. I hope all is well, and thank you so much. Sleep well. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye, everyone.